Ever wondered why some people seem to accumulate wealth as naturally as breathing, while others, no matter how hard they work or how many hours they put in, just can't seem to break the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck? Well, you're not alone, as it's a question that has puzzled many of us. But what if I told you that the answer might be less about the size of your paycheck and more about the way you think? Today, we're talking about the key differences between a rich mindset and a poor mindset, and how these differences can shape your financial future. Make sure you watch till the end as we give you some actionable tips on how you can start cultivating a rich mindset right now. And before we get started, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on our next videos. Rich mindset versus poor mindset. Let's start by clarifying what we mean by a rich mindset and a poor mindset. You see, these two terms don't necessarily refer to the amount of money you have in your bank account. Instead, they're just about how you think about money, wealth, and success. People with a rich mindset see the world as abundant. They believe there are plenty of opportunities out there, just waiting to be seized. They view money as a tool that can help them achieve their goals and provide value to others. On the other hand, those with a poor mindset often see the world through a lens of scarcity. They believe that opportunities are very limited and that they have to compete with others for these scarce resources. They tend to view money as a finite resource, and they worry about losing what they have. And this fear can often hold them back from taking the risks necessary to accumulate wealth. Now that we've defined these mindsets, let's discuss some key differences between them. You might be surprised by what you find. The first one is value creation. When we talk about value creation, we're talking about the ability to produce something of worth, something that others find beneficial or desirable. This is a key characteristic of a rich mindset. People with a rich mindset know that wealth isn't just about taking from others or hoarding resources. Instead, it's about creating value that didn't exist before, solving problems, and making the world a better place in, their own unique way. For example, consider an entrepreneur who starts a business. Yes, there is a money factor, but the entrepreneur is also doing it because they see a need in the market that isn't being met, a problem that isn't being solved. And so, he creates a product or service that fills that gap, providing value to their customers. In return, he earns money, but the money is a result of the value they've created. On the other hand, those with a poor mindset often focus on their problems rather than finding solutions. They may see the world as a zero-sum game, where one person's gain is another person's loss. This is what we call scarcity mentality, where a person feels like they have to compete with others for limited resources. Another key difference is investment. People with a rich mindset understand the power of investing. They know that their money can work for them if they invest it wisely. They understand the concept of compound interest, often referred to as the eighth wonder of the world. And then, they realize that by just investing their money, they can create a source of passive income that can grow over time. While someone with a poor mindset tends to spend what he earns, leaving little to invest. He might see investing as too risky or complicated, or might not understand the potential benefits. And this can simply lead to a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, without the opportunity to build wealth over time. The third key difference is similar to that. Risk management. The ability to identify, assess, and prioritize uncertainties that could affect our goals, and then taking appropriate actions to mitigate them. This, my friend, is a key characteristic of a rich mindset. They understand that life is full of uncertainties, and that these uncertainties can either be solid barriers to their success or opportunities for growth. They don't shy away from risks, but instead, they manage them. They plan for different scenarios, set up safety nets, and are always prepared to pivot if things don't go as planned. Like an investor who diversifies their investment portfolio, they're not just throwing their money at random stocks, but they're spreading their investments across different asset classes to mitigate the risk of any single investment failing. And this is also a form of risk management. On the other hand, those with a poor mindset often avoid risks at all costs. Preferring the comfort of the known and the certain, even if it means missing out on potential opportunities. There is also a psychological factor involved in this fear of risk. As Mark Zuckerberg once said, the biggest risk is not taking any risk. In a world that's changing really quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed to fail is not taking risks. Moving on, there is another key difference between the both mindsets, which is continuous learning. People with a rich mindset understand that the world is constantly changing, new trends coming every day, and that to stay ahead, they need to keep learning and adapting. And so, they invest time and resources in improving their skills and knowledge, understanding that this investment will pay off in the long run. Let's take the same example of an entrepreneur who isn't just good at what he does, but he's always looking for ways to do it better. Like reading books, attending seminars, taking online courses, and even seeking advice from mentors. And those with a poor mindset often see learning as a chore or something that ends with formal education. They may be resistant to new ideas or ways of doing things, preferring to stick with what they know. This can limit their potential and prevent them from taking advantage of new opportunities. Another key difference is thinking. People with a rich mindset often think in terms of long-term goals and strategies. They know that building wealth is a long-term game, not a short-term trick. And they are willing to make sacrifices in the short term for long-term gains. While those with a poor mindset often focus on immediate gratification and short-term gains, which can hinder long-term financial growth. The impact of mindset on financial status. Now, having explored all these key differences between a rich mindset and a poor mindset, let's now turn our attention to the impact these mindsets can have on one's financial status. The mindset with which we approach wealth and finances surely plays a significant role in determining our financial outcomes. I mean, it can influence literally everything, including our decisions, our actions, and ultimately, our financial status. People with a rich mindset who focus on value creation, investment, risk management, long-term thinking, and continuous learning often find themselves on a path towards financial prosperity. Their proactive approach, coupled with their willingness to take calculated risks and invest in their future, often leads to wealth accumulation. And someone with a poor mindset who focuses on immediate gratification, avoids risks, and fails to invest in his future often finds himself in a cycle of financial struggle. His reactive approach and short-term thinking can limit his financial growth and leave him, feeling stuck. Now, the good news is that our mindsets are not fixed. They can be changed. And changing your mindset can have a profound impact on your financial future. As James W. Frick puts it, don't tell me where your priorities are. Show me where you spend your money, and I'll tell you what they are. Up till now, we've seen the key differences and their impact, and also some motivational quotes. But the question remains, how can we cultivate a rich mindset? Well, we've got 7 actionable tips for you that you can follow right away. Tip number 1. Surround yourself with positivity. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely and surround yourself with positive, successful people who inspire you to aim higher. Tip number 2. Practice gratitude. Keep in mind that wealth is not just about money. Like I said, yes, it is a factor, but it's also about appreciating what you already have. Regularly practicing gratitude can help shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. Tip number 3. Set SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound goals can provide a clear path toward wealth accumulation. If you want to explore this topic further, you can watch our videos on it. Tip number 4. Develop a budget. Make sure to manage your earnings effectively. Developing a budget can surely help you keep track of your income and expenses and plan for the future. And don't go for complicated and complex ones, just try to be simple. Tip number 5. Practice long-term thinking. Believe it or not, long-term is the game to go. So cultivate the habit of thinking long-term. Set long-term financial goals and make decisions that align with these goals. Tip number 6. Be proactive. Take control of your financial future. Don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Go out and create them. Be proactive in managing your money and making financial decisions. Tip number 7. Embrace calculated risk. Let's be real, at any point, you'll have to take some risk. Understand that there's no reward without risk, so don't shy away from it. Just take calculated risks. Make sure to do your homework and understand the potential outcomes before taking a risk. And if you're looking for more resources to deepen your understanding and cultivate a rich mindset, you can read some of the best books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Well, that's it for today. Cultivating a rich mindset is not an overnight process. It requires conscious effort, patience, and persistence. But yeah, with the right approach, it's certainly achievable. If you enjoyed the info in this video, we'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you learned from this video that you'll start implementing in your life? Or if you've any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future videos, drop your comments below. And before you go, don't forget to check out our video on Start Now to generate passive income in 2024. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.